Caught in a rut? Oh, that's no good. Stay tuned to find out how to get rid of it. I definitely have the personalised tailored answer to you in this video that's mass marketed.
A better you starts today.
Alright. You're in one of those positions in your life where not much is going on, and you feel like life is going by and you've cornered yourself in this little zone of comfortability. I gotta say, it could be worse. There are a lot of mammalian species that spend their entire lives being like, trying desperately to make that little hole that you've created for yourself. And then what happens? Beagles come in and eat them. That's not happening to you. Hopefully. Well, kind of not hopefully. I want to see the internet footage of you being ripped apart by beagles. Maybe just because you're just one of those like, I'm a furry dressed as a fox. Nah. That might be happening to you at this point, and I wouldn't be surprised because furries are notoriously chronic online addicts. But for everybody else who's just in that flow state and then everything just stops in their life and they're like, oh, what happened? I'm watching on TV now, I don't know what to do. You know what I'm talking about? Let's just quickly define what a rut is. I think that a good definition of rut is that you, and this is why you should be excited about being in a rut, is that you have mastered your world circumstances. Well, let's change this, actually. I hope that you have a little pencil eraser or some whiteout like you're in year 4. Let's make it, you have mastered your life circumstances. That's why you're in a rut. Because if you hadn't mastered your life circumstances, the feeling of crippling comfortability would not be there, would it? If you were starving right now, would you say that you were like, I'm in a rut, except for the fact that I can't find food? No, that's why you go out of your little rut. Other than that, you want to spend your life in that hole. So you have just mastered the fact that you have all these carrots and whatever other things that rabbits don't actually eat, apparently gives them diarrhea. All of that stuff. You put it all in your little burrow. You're there. What happens after a while? You obviously get bored. Why are you bored? Because it is the same as when you were extremely excited when you first learned to tie your shoelaces, which I'm sure for most of you was 36. I'm a little more advanced than you. I learned it at 31. So, what happens when you are in that circumstance? You've learned to tie your shoelaces when you're 5. And you go, yeah, oh my God. And then you do it again. Mom, look. And then Dad, you're like, Dad, look. And then you see that your dad is not very interested in the fact that you can tie your shoelaces. Fair enough. Fair enough. I don't even think that your mum was excited about it. I think your mum was just excited because you were excited. That was it. And so, like, just being like, his first milestone. But for you, it was a big accomplishment because you had mastered a skill. That is what is happening with the rest of your life, by the way, which is why you should always look at your current circumstances that you have in your life now and be like, no, fuck, you did pretty good. Did pretty good to get here. I have both a beanie and a baseball cap. I'm fit for both winter and summer, Stooge. Hot to trot. Nah, but not in the winter months, obviously. Yeah? That's what's happening in your brain. What is happening in your brain is that you have mastered every skill that is around you. That's a good thing. You should first off ding yourself for that. Give yourself a nice little pat on the back for the fact that I've pretty much figured all of this stuff out myself. Well, you know, the very complicated system that we're all in that keeps millions of us in matrix batteries in cities probably did do a bit of the heavy lifting. You got to give him some credit where it's due. You, on the other hand, 90% of it, concocted it all together. Resource gatherer, motherfucker. That's you. So good for you for doing that. Now, that should give you a good indicator, like with most things, right? Like it's always just like defining what the problem is half the solution. That's half of it right there. It is just the fact that you are doing well. That's why you're in a rut. Because life generally goes through these kinds of stages, yeah? It's just like nothing happens, I'm bored, fuck, life crisis, shit, what do I do? That forces you to grow. So there are always going to be those things that just randomly orbit while you're just hurtling around in space, moving around, and then all of a sudden an asteroid just goes, my eye! And then you have a crisis, you're like, oh! And then you stop it from learning to bleed. You figure out how to stop it from bleeding in space. You then catch another little eye thing that's coming out there and be like, oh, it fits just my eyeball. And then you have like a little replacement eyeball made out of a moon rock. And then you learn to adapt to your current circumstances. And that is just how life usually progresses. You are either bored or you have the... So that's your two options. It's better to be in the rut in a lot of ways, but the thing is, and this is always the case with most of these crises, like with societal crises, which are obviously a lot harder to navigate, I'm not going to be sitting there and saying that these are things. This is why it's much easier for you to do this on an individual level, right? They're preventable. A lot of the time they are preventable. A lot of the time it is not some random psycho circumstance that had nothing to do with anything. For instance, let's use this one. Let's say that you have no food in the house and then you go down to Coles and it's a public holiday. You're like, no, like that was preventable. That is your fault. But you are with the crisis. So what do? You go to the park and then you eat dog shit because it's totally safe for human beings to eat dog shit. Take note, kids. That's your next little trick to master after your shoes. Have a nice little picnic bar on Friendly Geordies. Yeah? You see what I'm saying here? I'm saying, stupid cunts, that if you are in that situation now where you are in a rut, first off, you need to acknowledge that's awesome. That means there's no external crises, but what is going to happen soon? So first off, you've mastered all of your life circumstances around you. What is going to happen at some point is that there is going to be a crisis that hits your life. You should be preparing for it. You should see the ruts of your life as your summers, and you are preparing for the winters. And here they come. Oh, fuck, the asteroid belt. That is how you should be looking at your ruts. So what are you doing in your rut periods? You are expanding. It is a lot like how a lot of people had their COVID goals and they sat around in their apartments for 2 years and then they learnt languages. And I am sure that those have bared fruits in the time that they have left. They're ruts. How topical. There would be times where they'll go back and they'll just be like, oh, Spanish. Now I can read the taco sign that I could have ordered in English anyway. There you go. There's something that you could have advanced in. So that's what I'm saying. When you are in a rut, when you are bored, good, acknowledge it, be proud of the fact that you are, and then you should be looking at where is my life kind of going in the... Because that's where a crisis comes from most of the time. It is not this random circumstance. It is just the slow accumulation of the snowball, and then eventually it smacks you in the head. And then you become a snowman because it's winter. I think there was someone at my door. So I think that I'm just going to go to... Look, that's what I'm saying. You should be looking at your time for the rut as a time of expansion. As a time of expansion. If there is anything in life that you want to do, if there is anything in life that you want to get better at, the rut is the time to do it. The rut's the time to do it. That's what you should be excited about. I want you to pause this video, this is your homework, to just sit there 10 minutes and think about the possibilities of your life. That's all. What is possible for you? Because people don't do it enough, damn it. People don't sit there and think, where could my life lead if I started, instead of the snowball going down the hill, me being like, and making it go up the hill? What is something that I could do? What is something that I've always wanted to experience? What is something that I've always wanted to learn? What is something that I've always wanted to become? That is the time to start thinking about those things. It's very easy to start doing. And that's the first step. The first step is to just sit there and I want you to think about your ideal life. I also want you to sign up to Jordan Shanks for 1 to 3 extra videos a week that are just going to be jamming you all the time, demanding that you do more, and you get it for, I mean, if you get the 3 meals, it's like, I mean, the 3 videos is the price of a fucking meal. In fact, it's less due to inflation. All of these things are less and they give you more value, more sustenance than the damn food. More sustenance than that. If you just remember that one piece of advice from this, for instance, that the rut is good, the rut is the time that you should be focusing on expansion because you don't have to do crisis management. And when you aren't focusing on crisis management, what do? Like with all empires, instead of just being like, fuck the borders, fuck, you're just like, he's not bad. Okay, I'm just going to go over to the east here a little bit. And like, bam, get some more slaves, right? Like, that's what you should be doing in your spare time. So, first off, if you want to sign up to Jordan Shanks, you could be doing a hell of a lot worse. Everybody that always signs up to Jordan Shanks loves it. Fact. I've looked at the exit sheets. The only time anyone ever exits out of it is just like, sorry, I lost my job. And it's just like, well, good to see that it sometimes works. Right? But the thing is, that these are principles that will stick with you. If you can afford it, that's great. If not, be a cheapskate, watch the free stuff. I obviously prefer if you gave me money, but whatever. The thing is that there's 3 extra videos available every day, just prodding you. Just do this. Do something, you stupid cunt. Don't let the day waste away. What a true crime. What a true crime to sit there in your digital little haze, but I didn't get better today. I'm going to make sure that you do. See you next time.